Good morning. Here we are with week 7. Wow, these weeks have been going so quickly. So today, I would like to talk about the terror barrier. The terror barrier is an internal conflict, obviously. And it's something that arises pretty much every time we go to make some awesome change. So, we become what we think about. That's what we've been sharing and discussing ever since week 1. The inner genie. The inner genie is our ability to be able to create the world we want. We're the only beings on the planet, as far as we know, that can do that. All other animals are happy in their little environments. We're out of it because we create our own, and most of us don't know it. So we become what we think about. Thought is focused energy. We think thoughts are just like clouds, they're invisible, we can't see them, they're just something we do. But because they're actually focused energy, they're very, very powerful. Excuse me, I've got some notes here and I just can't quite, they're very, very powerful. Now, everything is energy. Energy is flowing into the body and out of it all of the time. All of the time. Semyon Kirlian, back in, I haven't got the date in front of me, but, he discovered the photography of auras, the energy around the body, coming in and out of the body. He did experiments with leaves, even leaves that had been removed from a plant still had an aura, and when a piece of the leaf was removed, that aura for the whole leaf was still there. And this aura is our blueprint. Now, when we have thoughts, we actually create energetic blueprints for what we're thinking about. So thought is focused energy. Energy comes into our consciousness and we think and we form these thoughts. When we think about a thought for a little while, we internalize it. We start to get emotion around it. We start to feel it. And feeling is just the conscious awareness of energy. A lot of us will say, I can't feel energy. I've heard it so many times over and over. Guess what feeling is? It's feeling energy. Our whole body is just energy. And when we feel anything, we're feeling energy. That's what it is. So our subconscious mind, I'll back up a little bit. We have a conscious and a subconscious mind, and I've mentioned this in one of the other lessons. And our conscious mind is what gives us the reasoning factor. Actually, all the higher faculties of mind are in the conscious mind. That allows us to individualize thought, to use our will, our focus, our imagination. All of these fun things to play with that are actually our tools of creation. When we have a thought in our conscious mind, we can either accept it or reject it. Everything that we accept and emotionalize moves into the subconscious mind and becomes part of our programming. Now, to think something and not give it any feeling is just a wish. But when we think something and get emotional, it becomes a belief. And that's where the subconscious mind is. And our subconscious mind is where all of our programming exists, all of our beliefs, our habits, everything that we've taken on, you know, in the early years of this life, plus there's environmental and genetic information, as well as past life. You know, it's all in there affecting our actions and our vibration. So our subconscious mind is what births the vibration in our body, our frequency. The subconscious mind is the emotional mind, and it's in every cell of the body. It's not just in our head. And once we have a vibration, that vibration instigates action of some sort. So, you know, we can take action, excuse me. We can take action consciously, like deliberately, but 96 to 98% of the time we are running on automation, and therefore our subconscious mind, excuse me, our subconscious mind and the beliefs and the habits that are in there are actually running the show. So it's important to know what's in the subconscious mind or to upgrade it. So the group of beliefs and habits, and all habits come from the subconscious mind because they're repetitive actions based on repetitive thought. This information in the subconscious mind is called our paradigm. And because it's our subconscious mind that's mostly directing our frequency, well, it's always directing our frequency, but it's mostly directing our action and our thought. It's directing our response or reaction to the environment around us. To change our action and our vibration, we really need to change our thought. You know, and we have thought, then we think about it, we create feeling that dictates our vibration, that instigates action, which then instigates results. So to get different results, we really have to come back to the cause, which is our thinking. So how do we change our thinking? How do we change the subconscious mind? And, you know, we've touched on this in other videos as well, but it's repetition. You know, there's two ways to change the subconscious mind. One is shock, and it's usually negative. You know, something traumatic will happen and you never forget it. And the other one is repetition. And repetition, of course, leads to habits. But when we create habits that serve us, it's much different to having habits that are just time wasters or that keep us in the same place time after time. So how do we change our thinking? By repetition. And this is why, you know, when we have a big goal that I've mentioned before, it's important to visualize and think and feel on this goal over and over and over again. It's not that we're coming from fear and we're asking repeatedly, like it's not putting in this request to the universe over and over and over again. But what it's doing is embodying it in the subconscious mind so that it's directing our frequency and it's directing our actions instead of the old programming that's already in there. So the repetition actually creates new belief, and that changes our paradigm. It creates new programming, which then shifts our vibration and our actions. And of course, the vibration of our body is what's attracting to us. So it's really important to understand this. And when thoughts are the blueprint which are shaping our world around us, you can see the importance of actually being aware of our thoughts and shifting them, you know. And we were trained as children to be careful, to, you know, don't do that, to avoid certain situations, you know, to be careful we didn't fall over, to be careful we didn't get hurt, to be careful we didn't eat something that we shouldn't, you know. So we've been trained to live in avoidance. And if we're really aware of our thoughts all of the time, we'll notice how many of those thoughts are negative. And this negative thought is what's creating the world that we've got right now. When we continue to focus on the world around us, we continue to think and feel about the world that we've got, and we continue to recreate it. So we are beings of expansion. You know, all spiritualists talk about that. And it's when we're in expansion that we're actually feeling our best, because it's natural. You know, plants, animals, everything want to expand. They want to multiply themselves. And, you know, the whole universe is set around expansion. However, expansion brings change in the mind and in the body, and it creates fear. Now, the reason it creates fear, we have a conscious and a subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind has been programmed, in my case, for more than 60 years. You know, it's been directing my life and keeping me, up until a few years ago, very much the same, day in, day out. Now, we're either in expansion or we are in contraction. We're not actually ever staying the same. And stagnation and boredom comes from staying the same, or trying to stay the same. But we have this programming in the subconscious mind. When we set a goal, a really delicious goal, something that's going to really stretch us and change our world, we start thinking differently in our conscious mind. Okay, now maybe I'd have a thought, oh gosh, I'd love a new car. You know, while it's just a random wish or thought and given no attention, it's just a thought and it's not threatening. As soon as I decide that I really would like a new car and I might go and test drive them, I start visualizing this new car. I can see it, I can feel it, I can imagine it, I can smell it, I can even hear it. You know, I can put myself in the place of driving down the road inside of this new car, and it feels really delicious. So I get feeling around it, you know, and it's starting to possess my mind, you know. I'm starting to see these new cars everywhere and I'm thinking about it over and over and over again. But then, you know, I might go to the dealership to, you know, have another look. And suddenly my subconscious mind is, oh, you can't afford that. It's way outside your comfort zone. The car you've got's really, really good. You know, all of this negative self-talk. What if you go get something that you can't afford? What if you know, end up you can't pay for it, you're going to look like a loser, blah, blah, blah. You know, all of this negative self-talk comes up. And what that does is put us into fear, you know, and sometimes it's something physical, something, you know, we might get a really big unexpected bill or something like that that comes in, and suddenly we think, oh, I can't afford the new car after all. And that is instigated by our subconscious mind, an excuse to actually give us a way out of the change that we were seeking. So we've got our conscious mind and we've got our subconscious mind. And whilever these two are in the same frequency, thinking the same thoughts, there's harmony in the body. As soon as we've got our conscious mind thinking different thoughts to what the subconscious agrees with, we've got this chaos, because we've got two different frequencies represented in the body. We've got the subconscious mind, which is, you know, got this status quo in the body, and we've got these new thoughts that we're starting to create feeling around, and because we're creating feeling, are starting to get impressed upon the subconscious mind. So like imagine the subconscious mind and our continued always thinking is an X-type vibration, X-type thought, X-type vibration. Now suddenly we're thinking these new thoughts, these Y thoughts, and we're feeling it. We're getting excited about it. We really, really want this new car. So now in the subconscious mind, we've got a mix of X thoughts and X vibration and Y thoughts and Y vibration, and they don't agree with each other. And it's chaotic. And therefore, we've got chaotic energy in the body. And because feeling is an awareness of frequency, we've got this chaotic feeling coming up in the body. And it feels uncomfortable, it feels scary, and the voice in our head is becoming so continuous that we are really starting to believe all of this fear that was going on, and we're doubting ourselves. And this is what stops most people from stepping into the freedom that they desire. We call it the terror barrier. It's nothing more than mixed thought in our subconscious mind and mixed frequency in the body. At this point, excuse me, we could go back to our old thinking. We could say, no, I don't really want that new car. And we might feel disappointment or hurt for a little while, but we've got that chatter still going on in our head saying, yeah, you made the right decision. Yep, let it go, all's good. And over a short period of time, we come back to feeling good. However, we just missed out on the expansion that was offered, and we've come back to where we were. And there's no sameness, so we're either expanding or we're contracting. So guess where we are? We're back into the old situation, and it's going to continue to actually get worse and worse. It's going to continue to disintegrate because it can't stay the same. Growth and fear always go hand in hand. Absolutely do. Because, you know, we are going to face this time internally when we've got this clash of old and new ideas and frequency. But all of this fear, when we can shift it from being a negative to being a positive, and to understand why it's there and where it's coming from, we can step forward anyway. You know, when I step into fear, I say, wow, you know, this is a sign that I am changing my programming, that my paradigm is changing, that I'm in expansion. You know, and of course our perception changes our frequency. As soon as we have a positive thought, when we can see something differently, we feel better. And what we're doing is we're putting more love, more good feeling into our body because of the thoughts that we're having, and we bring balance to our body. So setting big goals will always come up against the terror barrier. But the terror barrier isn't a tiger that's about to eat us. It's not something that we should let stop us. So, you know, the terror barrier is our opportunity to really reassess whether we want to step into the expansion and the goal, the desire that we have, or whether we want to step backwards. And unfortunately, so many of us step backwards. You know, I love Esther Hicks Abraham, but there was one thing that she always used to say, or he always used to say, or they always used to say. You know, that was, if you feel uncomfortable, then don't go there. And, you know, Esther always said you've got to align your thoughts with it before you take the action. And I totally agree with that part. But, you know, my understanding of Abraham was, as soon as fear came up, stop, don't go anywhere. And for 10 years, while listening to Abraham Hicks, every time fear would come up, when I tried to step outside of my comfort zone, I would retract. Because my thinking was, this isn't in alignment with me. And it's true in a way. It's not in alignment with my subconscious programming. But isn't that good? Isn't that good that it's not in alignment with my subconscious programming? Because my subconscious programming is all of the past. The subconscious programming doesn't hold the key to the future. It holds the evidence of the past. So to create something new, we are going to have to step outside of that paradigm and think differently. Fear is no more than ignorance. And I don't mean ignorance in a, like being rude or anything like that. Ignorance is not knowing. And I was ignorant for a long, long time. Ignorant of the way my mind worked and the power that it had. You know, we as spiritualists, or even in religion, we believe in a spirit, our non-physical self, a God who is all-powerful, and we don't understand that it's our mind with our heart that gives us access to that. Spirit, the unseen part of me, is pure positive energy. It is consciousness and life itself. And what is thought? Thought is consciousness. You know, everything is energy. When I realize that I've been given the tool of thought to be able to create my own world, because everything starts with thought. I would love for anybody to, wonderful challenge, if you can find something that wasn't created by thought first, let me know. But thought instigates absolutely everything. And it starts with thought, with feeling, with action. The feeling produces a vibration which goes out into the universe, which creates the blueprint and draws back to us through the energy of feeling, our heart, that which we desire. And even to say it draws back isn't quite the right wording, because what it actually does is shift us into the same frequency where the version of me is already living that dream, that desire. So, you know, nothing is created or destroyed, which means everything that we desire is available for us right now. And there is a version of us living that desire, that goal. So when we visualize, when we feel, and visualizing is no more than a technique to take us to that place and allow us to use our senses and our feeling to shift us into that vibrational place, to align us with our goal. So I hope that's all made sense to you. You know, both fear and faith are unseen. Pretty much all humans believe in fear. And when fear strikes, most of us run. Very few of us really have faith. Really have faith. How much faith have you got in you, in your ability to create your world? How much faith have you got in your understanding of yourself? In your ability to think yourself to the results that you want? In your ability to align with your non-physical self, who is pure love, who enjoys absolutely every experience you have and harvests the good from it, who isn't dissuaded by fear or by procrastination or by worry or shame or guilt, who sees everything through the eyes of love, and who adores you and who knows your power. Because that's the real you. You know, we get caught up in our head about appearances of what might happen, and we create our own demise through these thoughts and through these feelings that we attach to these thoughts. And when we can understand how important our thoughts are, then we get to tell a new story and live that new story, if we have the faith to do so. Faith comes from understanding. And that's what I've been bringing to you, information to help you understand who you are and what's possible. This is what I facilitate through the courses that I am able to share with all of you. Anyone that's interested in getting really serious about recreating their world, I would love to hear from you. I would love to support you. It's a 6-month course. We have live get-togethers every single week, one-on-one, where you are given a program that's been taught for a long, long time, that was created by Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher, that has changed absolutely thousands and thousands of lives, changed the bottom line for businesses as well. This course works, but it only works with accountability, with understanding, and that's where I come in. You know, to try and change your life alone is really hard work, and most people give up before it happens. I would love to support you in the change that you desire. Everything is possible. In fact, everything is right now. Let me help you step into that self, that life that you desire. Drop one-on-one below if you're interested in having a chat about this. And I'll see you again next week. Big love to you all.